Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Arbitrary 20. In this video we're going to be trying to build the most durable character we can while only sticking to martial classes. So some of the things we'll be aiming for with this build is to get our armor class as high as we can, our saving throws as high as we can, and our hit points as high as we can, as well as getting access to some powerful defensive class features. So let's go ahead and get started with the race. We're going to be going with Vedalken. We're mainly here for the Vedalken Dispassion ability to get advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. If you can't use setting specific races, the gnome would be a good option as well, as it has advantage on the same 3 saving throws but only against magic, which in most cases will function pretty much the same, but the Vedalken is technically slightly better. I think that boosting those 3 saving throws is the most powerful racial defensive ability, but if you'd rather have a boost to your armor class, you could go with something like Warforged, or if you'd rather have a boost to your hit points, you could go with something like Hill Dwarf. And then onto our ability scores, assuming point buy, we'll have a strength of 12 plus 1 from our race for a total of 13, a dexterity of 15 plus 1 from our race for a total of 16, a constitution of 15 plus 1 from our race for a total of 16, an intelligence of 8, a wisdom of 13, and a charisma of 8. And if you're rolling for ability scores, I would prioritize constitution first, dexterity second, and then make sure you have at least a 13 in strength for multi-classing. And then for our ideal equipment, first we're going to want half plate armor. Heavy armor would probably be better, but one of the classes we're taking doesn't really work with heavy armor, so half plate is the best we can do. And then we'll also want a shield and a rapier. And then on to levels 1 through 3, we're going to be taking 3 levels of barbarian. First up, we'll get rage. This gives us a little bit more damage, but most importantly, it gives us resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. And then next up, we'll get danger sense. This gives us advantage on dexterity saving throws. Now with this, at just level 2, we have advantage or proficiency in every saving throw. And then next up, we'll get reckless attack. If you're 100% focused on defense, you wouldn't use this, but I think in most cases we'll be durable enough to use this without worrying about it. And then for our primal path, unsurprisingly, we're going to be going with Totem Warrior. I'm mainly here for the Bear Totem Spirit, which gives us resistance to all damage except psychic while we're raging. This is definitely one of the most popular defensive abilities in the game, and it's for good reason. And then on to levels 4 through 6, we're going to be taking 3 levels of fighter here. First up, for our fighting style, we're going to go with defense, just a simple +1 to our armor class. And then next up, we'll get second wind. This is just a little bit of extra healing we can use as a bonus action once per short rest. And then next up, we'll get action surge. This is a bit less useful for a build focused on defense, but there will still be some times where we have to do some extra damage. For our martial archetype, we're going to go with battle master, and there's 2 maneuvers I think are really good for this build: bait and switch and menacing attack. Bait and switch lets us switch places with an ally for a d8 added to our AC for the round. If we roll high enough on this, the enemies just might not be able to hit us without critting. And then menacing attack makes an enemy frightened if they fail a wisdom saving throw, which makes them have disadvantage on all of their attacks, making us even harder to hit. I think those 2 maneuvers are the best in terms of defenses. You can pick whatever you'd like for the other 2 maneuvers. Evasive footwork and parry could be okay, but we'll get similar features that are much better from our next multi-class. On to levels 7 through 15, we're going to be taking 9 levels of rogue. First up, we'll get sneak attack, which is just a little bit of extra damage we can use once per turn. And then next up, we'll get expertise. For one of the choices, I would go with either athletics or acrobatics to escape grapples. And then next up, we'll get cunning action. Being able to dash and disengage as a bonus action will be really good for positioning ourselves on the battlefield. And then for our roguish archetype, we're going to be going with Phantom. Wails from the Grave lets us do a little bit of extra damage to a second target, but the main reason we're here is tokens of the departed. We're able to get soul tokens when enemies die near us, and when we have one of them on us, we have advantage on constitution saving throws and death saving throws. And then in this time in rogue, we'll get 2 ability score increases or feats. For the first one, I would go with resilient wisdom. Wisdom saves happen a lot, and it's currently our weakest saving throw of the 3 primary saving throws, those being dexterity, constitution, and wisdom. And then for our second feat, I would go with medium armor master, just to get another +1 to our AC. And then at 5th level in rogue, we'll get uncanny dodge. Anytime we take damage from an attack, we can cause that attack to deal half damage. This in combination with our resistance from rage will make those big hits do almost nothing. And then lastly, at 7th level in rogue, we'll get evasion. This is one of the best defensive abilities in the game, allowing us to take no damage on a successful dexterity saving throw and half damage if we fail. And then for levels 16 through 20, I have a few different variations here of ways you could go. The first one you could consider is going up to level 13 in rogue to get the ghost walk feature from Phantom. This is another ability you can use as a bonus action to improve your defenses. It has some nice utility as well, but in terms of defenses, the important thing is that all attacks against you have disadvantage for 10 minutes. If you have this, rage, and your reaction open for uncanny dodge, you're going to be taking almost no damage. Another option you can consider is going to Barbarian 6 to get an extra rage if you find that you're running out of rages before the adventuring day is over. And then the next option I would consider is going to Fighter 6 to get an extra ability score increase or feat, and with this one or the Barbarian 6 you'll end up getting extra attack, which is nice, so you'll get an extra chance to land your menacing attack and your sneak attack. Regardless of which of these ways you go, you'll get at least one more feat. Some good picks for that would be Lucky, which we would probably use to reroll saving throws. The Tough feat would be good to increase our hit points, or you could just boost your Constitution score, which would increase our hit points and our Constitution saving throws. But that's all I have for the build. If you guys would like to check out my last build guide, which is a Necromancer Bard that's almost game breaking, you can check that out right here. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.